Did you ever wonder all the greatest minds in history, Leonardo da Vinci, Jane Austen, Nikola Tesla, Friedrich Nietzsche, what did they have in common? They didn't just think, they wrote everything down, not for fame, not for publication, but to survive the chaos inside their heads, to turn fleeting thoughts into something real, to remember who they were when life tried to erase them. At the Pen Insider, today we're asking one quiet question. Why did the greatest minds never stop writing things down? And what happens when we do the same? A thought feels complete until you try to write it down. In your mind, everything makes sense. Ideas feel clear, structured, finished. But the moment you put pen to paper, something changes. The gaps appear, the confusion becomes visible, because thinking is fast, messy, unstructured. Writing forces something different. It slows your thoughts down and makes them real. This is why so many great thinkers didn't just rely on their minds. They wrote not because they had clarity, but because they were searching for it. Ideas don't wait. They appear suddenly and disappear just as quickly. Most people trust their memory. They assume they'll remember later, but the greatest minds never did. Leonardo da Vinci filled thousands of pages with sketches, questions, and unfinished ideas. Not because they were perfect, but because they were fleeting. Nikola Tesla was known to capture thoughts the moment they appeared, before they vanished. Because a good idea, unwritten, is often a lost idea. Writing becomes a way of holding on to something that would otherwise disappear. But writing isn't just about ideas, it's also about understanding yourself. Joan Didion once wrote that she didn't know what she thought until she wrote it down, because thoughts in the mind are unstable. They shift, they blur, but when you write them, you see them clearly, your fears, your patterns, your contradictions, and sometimes truths you weren't ready to admit. Writing doesn't just record who you are, it reveals it. The world today moves fast, endless scrolling, constant input, information without reflection. You consume more, but understand less, because nothing stays long enough to be processed. You move from one thought to the next without ever finishing one. Writing interrupts that. It forces you to pause, to take a single idea, and stay with it. Not for seconds, but long enough to actually understand it, and that's uncomfortable, because most thoughts, when you slow them down, aren't as clear as they felt in your head. But that's the point. Writing doesn't just slow you down, it forces you to face your own thinking. It's slower, but in that slowness, there is clarity. And in that clarity, there is control. The world has changed. Faster tools, faster communication, endless information, but the human mind hasn't. It still forgets, still gets distracted, still searches for meaning. That hasn't changed in hundreds of years. And that's why this habit never disappeared, because writing was never just about words. It was a way to think more clearly, to remember what matters, to make sense of things that would otherwise stay vague. That's why people across completely different worlds, from Leonardo da Vinci to Joan Didion, all did the same thing. They wrote, not because they had to, but because it worked. So maybe the question isn't why the greatest minds wrote everything down. Maybe it's this: what are you losing by not doing it? Because thoughts that aren't written don't last, and a mind that never writes slowly loses track of itself. So maybe the question isn't why the greatest minds wrote everything down. Maybe it's this: what are you losing by not doing it? Because thoughts that aren't written don't last, and a mind that never writes slowly loses track of itself. Writing isn't just a habit, it's a way of understanding your own mind. And once you see it that way, it stops being optional. Now I'm curious, do you write things down or just trust your memory? Let me know in the comments. And if you're someone who thinks differently about writing ideas and the tools behind them, subscribe to the Pen Insider.